Florence, good morning.
Good morning, Hank.
I'm extremely happy to be here in beautiful Paris again, and to have this discussion with you in preparation for the HealthTech Investor Summit, which is coming up in Utrecht, as you know very well, beginning of December. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate you for the recent fundraising that you did with M2 Care. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. How much money did you raise? What are you going to deploy the money for? And also where, in which countries do you plan to invest so that our people that are interested in the HealthTech Investor Summit can have a little bit of heads up to already, so that they can meet with you in Utrecht.
Thank you very much, Hank, for your congratulations and welcome to Paris. So indeed, we have raised 26 million. We are very happy of this fundraising. This will enable us to sustain 7 to 8 projects in the next 4 to 5 years. We are investing in very early stage companies at co-creation as a venture studio, because we bring both cash and in-kind value. We involve ourselves in strategy and operating to help project holders start and develop their companies. And so we are health tech. We invest mainly in neurology, ophthalmology, dermatology, and cardiology. And we focus, of course, on France, but also on European countries, and in particular Belgium, Switzerland, French-speaking countries, and countries which are not too much remote from France, because we are involved in the companies as entrepreneurs in residence.
Excellent. And I mean, you've been very active also in preparation for the HealthTech Investor Summit. I actually think that 2 of your portfolio companies have already been selected to pitch, so we're extremely happy with that. But can you, in the current times that we live, which are interesting times, sometimes disturbing times on a geopolitical level, that clearly has an effect on the overall financial climate. Can you give us a little bit of an insight on your path to fundraising? What were some of the challenges that you have encountered? Because I don't think that companies always appreciate how difficult it is also for an investor to do their fundraising, and what are the hurdles that they need to go through.
Yeah, definitely. So I participated to the HealthTech Investor Summit last year, which was really amazing because I met very early stage projects, and this is very important to help founders and project holders from the very beginning, so as to avoid them to take the bad path. Researchers, doctors who are starting projects are not used to fundraising, to going to the market. So this is an important point, and I was so happy to meet with very early stage projects, sometimes with companies not yet incorporated. And as an investor, well, I'm someone quite very positive. I think that we have a lot to do in Europe. There are several funds who have raised recently money. So if you look at the global landscape, you have money on the market. I would say that it enables also selecting the best companies to invest in and to give them the chance to go until the exit, and also to develop their technology towards the patients and the social system. So I'm quite very positive, and I think that the European Euro Summit is a very good opportunity to bring investors towards founders and startups and to finance European innovation.
We've tried to put a lot of focus also on making sure that investors find each other at the conference, because one thing that surprised me a little bit when we started this adventure 3 years ago was, at that point in time, I had the impression that HealthTech investors across Europe did not necessarily know each other very well yet. I mean, a number of them, of course, did, but a number of them didn't know each other. And so we have the investor dinner the evening before the conference. This year, to speak to your the fact that you rightly said there's a number of funds that have raised money, we will have an investor announcement drink to celebrate the fundraising that has happened across Europe. And we hope to do that on a yearly basis, and that we can celebrate these moments on a yearly basis. But how important are these moments for you to be able to interact with fellow investors, to start to maybe exchange some ideas about individual investment files? How important has this been for you, apart from, of course, discovering companies also?
Yeah, you're perfectly right, and that was something I discovered at last year at your summit, and I met with a lot of investors. And as a venture studio, we are the first professional investors in the value chain. It's highly important for us to meet with co-investors the most early as possible, because from seed stage on, we are looking for co-investors to invest with us. As a studio, we invest at co-creation, at seed stage and Series A. And from seed stage, we need co-investors to back the startups. So it's a real good opportunity for us to introduce our project, the project where we are already investing, and to present them the different projects. They are also very happy to look at our portfolio, and so we can work together very early so as to be ready when the moment comes to finance the seed and the Series A stage.
One of the goals that we had from day one when we launched the HealthTech Investor Summit was also to start to break down a number of the barriers that exist in the HealthTech space in general. And the barriers that I see is partly technological barriers, which are, strangely enough, broken down by technologies like AI. I mean, you don't have simple medical devices anymore, but you have connected medical devices, you have digital therapeutics, you have digital health that is enabled by AI, etc., etc. But another boundary that I noticed that existed very, very strongly was a geographical boundary. And I'm extremely happy to see that an early stage funds like yourself, you're already looking outside of your home territory, which obviously is France. You look into Switzerland, you look into Belgium, you look into how can we continue to do that, and how can we break out of these, what I believe personally sometimes a little bit too local thinking, and how can we maybe even as a consortium or as a group of investors, how can we further improve on that? How can we make progress on that?
Mm-hmm. Indeed, and the HealthTech Investor Summit is a good opportunity to break boundaries, because you meet a lot of people from Europe, and we consider that there is very good innovation in France, of course, sustained by the government, by authorities, but there is also very nice innovation in Europe, and researchers, doctors, they collaborate from one country to another. So it's really important that investors do the same and consider that technology might be born in one European countries, and then when developing this technology, of course, it's going to be spread over the different markets in Europe. today no company can survive in just one local market. This is a nonsense to me. And also it's really important to have all patients from Europe and from the world benefit from the innovation. So the more investment funds and founders will cooperate within Europe to make Europe great again, this is really important. And thank you for enabling that.
No, it's a pleasure, and like I said, that was the goal from the beginning. And I mean, you used the magic phrase, making Europe great again. I mean, we're confronted with somebody on the other side of the ocean who has a very, very strong sentiment. I absolutely believe we need to make Europe great again, but we need to do that in a smart way. And so one of the things that we're going to do at the conference is actually a number of sessions where we will help early stage companies to identify what are key things that they need to do to be successful if they want to enter markets like Ireland, Denmark, Benelux, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy. So we've really gone from the bottom of Scandinavia all the way to the southern tip of Europe. And we want to help companies to identify the specific things they need to do when it comes to reimbursement. How can they get into hospitals? Because I believe that at this point in time, we are too many times saying, oh, difficult, Europe is difficult, Europe is complicated. I think we need to get away from that, and we need to start to focus on the solutions that are clearly there. Yeah? And that does not mean that companies don't need to look at the United States. I mean, for a number of companies, the United States is clearly the prime market that they need to look at and they need to go to. But a number of them also is very, very clear that key European beachhead markets are where they need to go. How are you at the moment that in your venture studio activities, how are you preparing companies for such a pathway? Because, I mean, you have French companies, but also those French companies need to break out of their boundaries. How are you doing that?
Mm-hmm. Well, we are leaning on the right people in every countries. And for me, entrepreneurial is a human story, of course. And you cannot know all the regulations in every European countries. Unfortunately, Europe is not yet ready in terms of regulation, etc. So in leaning on the best resources in every country, it enables to rapidly get an idea of how it goes into reimbursements, pathway into hospitals, in any kind of thing. And so doing that, you can be quite quickly, and even the US is a much more global market, and it seems much easier for European companies. You can do it in Europe in leaning on the right persons. So I'm quite positive. And as you know, as you say, we have to do also with the United States. We cooperate with researchers there, universities. They are very good. They are very open-minded and ready to cooperate. So I wouldn't oppose the two continents. And really, I think we can succeed all together.
No, I fully agree. I don't think it's opposing. I think as a small company, when you grow up, sometimes you have to make choices from a resource point of view, from a resource management point
Absolutely.
of view, and it's more a sequential process that you take. And do you first focus on the US or you first focus on Europe there? Maybe just as a last thought, what we're close to this conference in Utrecht. We already have 75 companies as of last night selected to pitch. What do you want to get out of the conference in Utrecht in December, Florence?
So I'm waiting a lot. I'm waiting for a meeting with very good projects, with having a wide knowledge of the ecosystem. There's also a very strong network you provide through this summit, with a lot of investors from a lot of countries, and finding investors for co-investing with us. You cannot just concentrate to France. You have to open up to every countries in Europe. So this will be a very good opportunity for us to meet both with investors, with startups, founders, and really it's a very rich moment for that. So
Well, I mean, I can give you some comfort. We will have the first investors from Portugal, from Spain, from Italy that will be joining this year. We have a number of corporates that will be joining the conference also. We have a few corporates from the United States that will be present at the conference. We have a number of corporates from Europe that will be there, and a number of corporate ventures that are associated with that. So we continue to try and grow and to make the right connections. And the only thing I can hope is that as an outcome, you identify some good companies and there is some investments that are closed as a result of that. I want to thank you, Florence, for a very nice chat, and see you in Utrecht, or maybe before that. Thank you
with
very
pleasure,
much.
thanks to you, and congrats for your amazing job in bringing innovation.
It's a pleasure to do it. Thank you.